So can they bring back Daredevil already? I know we got to season 3 and then the whole Disney Netflix thing happened, but I'd love me some more Daredevil. That was the baddest show on Netflix from the Marvel series. Or even some more G.I. Joe Red Ninjas. That shit would be dope. Can I get some fucking like Ninja Crave, man? Yeah, actually, this will fucking do. All right, you guys, so this episode is sponsored to you by Load Up Freight Management. We find the loads that pay what you want going where you want. Now listen, if you've been paying attention to the trucking industry, you'll know that it's a billion-dollar industry. And currently right now, there's a really huge backup of work, which is the reason why we're not even seeing a lot of these guys in stores right now. So please link up with my guys at Load Up so that we can go ahead and start getting all this moving again. And we can go ahead and start finding some cool ass action figures on the streets again at our local Targets, Walmarts, and comic book shops. Load Up Freight Management. Go ahead and check in the description below for the website and link up with my guys. All right, you guys, and here we have it, the Marvel Legends, the Hand Ninja, basically an army builder character, and they did him correctly in terms of packaging, because instead of having, let's say, a Stilt-Man head, since this is part of the Stilt-Man Build-A-Figure wave, he comes with the legs that you can basically get as many as you want, which basically promotes you wanting to buy more of these Hand Ninjas, right? We're not getting his torso, we're not getting a bunch of his heads, we're getting the leg pieces that are supposed to be able to stack. So bravo on Marvel Legends for hearing out what the customers actually want and making it a part of the box set itself. Now, the box itself does look pretty good. Basically, blacks all around and a lot of red here, but I think it's to the benefit of the box itself. This is a good looking figure on the shelf and it really catches your eye. And on the window box, you do see everything that you need and everything that you get, the stilts in the back, the extra hands, the side at the top, and then the katana right here on the bottom. And again, pretty good aesthetic looking overall on the front. On the side, we do get the same photo that we get on both sides of the box and the back, and it is a pretty cool little excerpt. Again, giving him a good shelf presence no matter how you want to place him on your shelf. Now on the back, we do get the same photo, but this time blown all the way up so you can see the entire katana, all the armor, the nice green eyes. This is a good looking back comic book photo. They have good ones for a lot of these of this wave specifically, but I like all the reds here. I know that there's a lot of it, but it looks aesthetically pleasing to me, especially the shades of red that we see in basically even the katana or the scythe itself. It's a really nice touch. And then right here on the top right, we do get the bio done in different languages, so that's nice. And then at the bottom below, we do see what the Stilt-Man Build-A-Figure is and all the pieces that we come with. And as I mentioned earlier, the Hand Ninja comes with his legs. As you can tell, it's meant to be able to build up as many as you can. And currently there's somebody that has like a 10-foot tall Stilt-Man and is still adding more pieces, so bravo to you. I hope you're able to get it. Moving on onto the other side, it's just another photo of basically the same photo, but it looks like it's just reversed now. So it is at least a little bit different and will look aesthetically pleasing either way you want to pose the box, if you, let's say, have all your boxes together in your shelves or whatever the case may be. Now let's go ahead and break him out of the box. Alright, you guys, and here is the Hand Ninja himself. Now I am going to tell you that back in the day when we used to have a lot of army builders, I never necessarily had high hopes for them just because I knew that they were kind of supposed to be a run-of-the-mill figure. But lately, a lot of these Marvel Legends and G.I. Joe and even other companies are making their army builders just as nice as the actual main figures themselves. Now I understand some of the gripes that I've heard about this character before, and I will touch base. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and break it down overall, the full sculpt itself. So it is fairly posable for a ninja, and we'll get into articulation a little bit later, but for the most part, he is supposed to be kind of just a regular foot soldier, right? So there's not supposed to be anything that sticks out about him too much. So we do have the hoodie at the top, which is connected directly to the head. I can't seem to pull it off, and it is a specific kind of red that follows the body basically from top to bottom. There isn't really any shading, but there is a lot of textures, a lot of folds in the clothing. It actually does lend it to be a more realistic looking figure thanks to that, but I wish there would have been a little bit more shading throughout. but as you can tell, at least physically speaking, it does look like it's supposed to. Wrinkles and things like that scattered all throughout the clothing. And then we do have a darker red right here for the forearm braces, which do kind of have a leathery look to it, so that is kind of nice. And then we do have this black rope piece that goes around each bicep, which is nice. It does break up a little bit of the basically the sea of red that we get here all the way down. And then for the legs, we do get the same red color. Let me go ahead and scroll down, but it does have at least some definition with those indents in between the big toe and the rest of the feet, so there is that. And then we do get the blacks basically throughout the armor pieces themselves, some silver where it's supposed to be metal, and then the black belt itself, which again is done fairly nice, fairly neutral. I don't expect too much out of the overall paint of these figures. They are only $20, but let me go ahead and zoom in on that beautiful face. Yeah, all right, let me go ahead and fix that up for you guys. So as you can tell, it is a pretty dope looking face overall. We do get a nice eyebrow colors. They're mostly just black. The skin type is done fairly well. I don't know why my camera is making it a little bit more of a paler color, but it does have a little bit more of a tan to it, and the green itself is done fairly well all throughout. It definitely looks like it's glowing, and that's really the look that they're going for, because it is supposed to look like they're glowing. And then the red for the face shield that he's wearing is basically it's almost the same as what he has on both arms, the forearms and the calves down, but I guess something about it seems a little more dull, but I kind of like that. Again, it's supposed to be a ninja, it's supposed to look a little bit more mysterious, and that is pretty nice. All right, guys, so while I was zooming out, I actually found a really good middle ground of the actual colors, so you can see it better right here. So as you can tell, it is a red all the way down. The eyes and the skin color look a little less pale here, so that does look pretty good. But overall, you're getting the idea of what this figure does come looking like. Now, obviously, being a ninja, he's still a soldier, and he has a beautiful up-down pose. Very good, very neutral, all the way down. Definitely looks like a warrior, has the articulation for it, and for the most part, definitely looks... he just definitely looks very martial, and that's something that I like. He's not hunched over, he doesn't look too thin, he looks, for the most part, what I would imagine a ninja body would look like. And he is a little bit tall, and we'll get into that because I'm sure you saw it when I was pointing out the hood, but we'll get into that a little bit later. On the back side is a repeat of everything I said on the front, reds from top to bottom, though I do like the way the sheath for the katana does look. It has these rivets through it that are textured, they're not just painted on. That is actually... probably can't hear that, but that is real right there, and it goes all the way down to the bottom, where this part is more smooth, but again, there's some definition to it. It definitely has, again, in a sea of red, definitely helps break it up a bit better. And then on the back we get a little bit of barcode right there, and then the same that we saw all the way down, even the red down here. A fairly plain figure, and that might be a knock to it, but it is supposed to be a ninja. He is supposed to be able to just kind of come in and out. If he had too much to him, then it would look less of a ninja, and I hate to say that. All right, guys, now when it does come to everything that he does come with, or before I get into that, let me go ahead and just say that for the most part, I do like the way it looks. I think aesthetically he is fairly pleasing, just standing there, or just if you're able to get a bunch of these guys, they're gonna look good. I don't think that this is objectively a bad looking figure. There's just a couple of differences that could have been had, maybe a little bit more of, let me go ahead and point it out right here. I think Hasbro could have given this part right here a slightly different red from that right there. That maybe closer to this color right here, just kind of coming down the middle and right there, and potentially right there as well. I think that would have done a great deal of breaking up some of that like basic red that we're seeing here, and I think that would have accentuated some of the details, even if they didn't put a wash in the rest of the character. But again, that'll be something that we'll have to see hopefully in a future release. All right, guys, so when it does come to accessories, the Hand Ninja does come with a fair amount of stuff. Now, obviously, we do remember the Red Ninja from the G.I. Joe, and he comes with a bunch of stuff, but he doesn't come with a Build-A-Figure piece, so I guess I can let it go that this guy comes with less weaponry, but obviously he does come with a Build-A-Figure tool, and that does take up some money, right? So let me go ahead and get into it. So basically, we do have right here one of the sides, and as you can tell, it is a pretty good-looking side overall. All right, you guys, I had to adjust the light, but Now that we've adjusted the light, I can basically now show you better. So it's a darker gray metallic color, basically on the side portion of it. As you can tell, it's really nice. It looks very metallic in the light. And then the black itself is just a black all the way through. And then at the end, also black. So not too much detail here, but at least the actual blades themselves are colored in, which is something that we didn't necessarily get with the Red Ninja. That's definitely a plus right there for me. Second one looks identical, no real difference, looks just as nice all the way through, and again, I appreciate the metallic color for the blade. Then we do get these action posed hands, basically these like martial arts hands that can be used to, like, let's say hold, you know, one part of the blade open-handed, which is always nice. It's always nice that they give you that, and we do get two, and they're both basically identical. They're in the same pose, they're just the opposite of each one, and it is nice that we do get something like that, because when it comes to the Red Ninja, we didn't get that, and I will be doing a comparison of both of them a little bit later. But yeah, this one does come with two sets of hands, which is nice. It does give him more, gives him more dynamically. And then we do get the katana itself, and the katana is done fairly square looking, but I'm okay with that. I like the way it looks. I'm very pleased with this sword overall. Again, that silvery gray for the metallic portions of the sword itself, done pretty well. And the black at the bottom, I would have liked to see maybe a little bit of red in those indentations right there, just to make it pop more, but for the most part, it does look pretty nice. Now for this part, I did have to zoom out, and I know you guys can see a little too much here, but it is okay. So basically what we have here at the bottom is a stand, which he fits on perfectly fine. And right now each one of these legs for the Stilt-Man are on there. And as you can tell, Stilt-Man is pretty fucking tall. It ends literally just right there. And as you can tell, it's even taller than the Hand Ninja, and the Hand Ninja isn't a short guy by any means necessary. So the Stilt-Man stuff is pretty large, and you know, that's the truth about a lot of these Build-A-Figure stuff, that a lot of times you'll end up getting a figure that might get less stuff overall, but you do get something like this, these huge legs, these huge chunks of plastic. But personally, I would love to see what the Hand Ninja could come with, or could be equipped with, if we got a single release without the legs at the same price point. Would they add anything? Maybe other holders for the katana, maybe a spear, maybe other weapons that they've actually used. But for the most part, yes, this is what you're getting with the Hand Ninja, and as you can tell, they're huge legs, long legs. All right, so obviously he does come with a decent amount of stuff. He doesn't just come with a katana, he does come with another set of weapons, and that is pretty nice. But what is he like articulated, considering he is a ninja? So let's go ahead and start with some of the gripes I have. So I'm sure you can tell just by looking at this guy right here, but the hoodie itself doesn't come all the way down, and you can actually see right through it from the front. Now this came out before Zartan did, I believe it did, and I wish we would have gotten Zartan's style of hoodie where it pops right on and off, but instead of connecting down the center like this one does, that instead we would have gotten that basically cut right here, where it just kind of droops down. I think that would have lent more to the aesthetic that we would have wanted to see here, and I hope that we do get that moving forward. I do believe that they are supposed to have this sort of look to it, but I think the main reason why it sticks out so much as not looking as good as it could, I think mostly lends to itself the one issue that everyone's referring to, that the neck is a little on the long side, and I have to admit that to some degree, yeah, I think that the neck should have been just slightly less tall, which would have made this piece right here touch against the shoulder a bit better, on the chest a little bit more, and I think that would have given it the aesthetic that they wanted. But by making it so tall, it ends up being this floaty piece when it shouldn't be. I mean, it is supposed to be a floaty piece, but you're not supposed to be able to necessarily notice it the way you do here. But when it comes to articulation, I do have one issue. His neck is on a ball peg, and you can see right there the divot down his throat, which should allow him to go forward and back. I can't get it. I can't get it to be done. It's basically stuck, and I've only been able to find one of these, and I don't want to try to pry it backwards because I don't want to break it. But you would normally be able to get some amount of head articulation out of that, but I'm only going to be able to go off the ball, not so much the ball hinge. So he can look down about that far, enough to make him look a little bit more eye level, and he can look slightly up. And that's all I can get out of this, guys. If you guys have seen in other reviews that they go further, I know that it does. I know he can look up fairly far down and fairly far up, but I just can't risk breaking this guy. This is the only one I've been able to find. But for the most part, you still get full 360 rotation, which is good. At least you can still get him posed up in that sense. And again, some of the neck, but I can't seem to get it. Now when it comes to the upper shoulder, he can basically get a fairly good T pose out of it. Both arms basically come just above 90 without issue, so that's pretty good. You can get him into a nice T pose all the way up, and then you do get the upper bicep swivel right there, does the full 360. As you can tell, he does have the butterfly joint, which does allow it to go basically pretty far back and pretty far forward. For the biceps, he does have double joints, and they do allow for noticeably past 90 degrees, though we'll admit right there, this black piece right there is sort of hindering that extra little inch, but I don't really think you're going to need it. You do need at least 90 degrees, and on a Ninja, you definitely need more than 90, and you do get it here, so I do have to applaud it for working out. Now for the hand itself, it does circle all the way around 360, but on the right hand right here, we actually get one of those pistol joints. So he does come down about that far, and he does go up also pretty far, so you're going to be able to get a lot of movement with any of the weapons in his hands without needing to use anything else, and you'll be able to get a lot of angle articulation out of that. Now the other side is exactly the same. The only difference is we get more of that push-up style Kamehameha blast hand that goes up and down rather than, or I guess side to side rather than up and down, but it does go pretty far. Now when it does come to his chest, he does have a bit of articulation here, so at the top of the chest, so this is with the bottom of the abdomen and the top at the same time. I might as well show you how far he can go back, and yeah, he's basically dodging bullets in that stance, and he's basically bowing to his master when he's going forward. And again, remember, with a little bit more of the head movement, if I could get that that head to pivot forward more, it would be even more obvious. But even without it, still a pretty good joint overall. And then of course it does go all the way around on the top 360, so pretty dope right there. Now as we do move down to the legs, I do want to implore you to look at this right here. The bottom part of the kama does come up and down, but only on one side, so it's almost like if it's glued on this side right here, but it does allow for it to come up a little bit and then get that extra articulation out. So the legs do go out. Not as far as I would have imagined for a ninja, but I guess for a male ninja, that is about as far as you might need for most poses, though I wish I could have gotten him all the way into the splits. And the main reason why we can't is because unlike the red ninja that we get from the G.I. Joes, this doesn't have the drop down hips. So that right there shows you how much of a difference that could make in adjusting, because the red ninja can get into a full splits. So we do get that swivel at the top of the thigh, which does allow for a full 360 turn. Everything is fairly tight, and then we do get double joint at the knees, which does allow for fairly high. Could he go a little further? It would be nice, but for the most part, I do think that we do get a fair amount of articulation there, all the way to the top. There you go. So as you can tell, it does come up pretty far. He can almost kick his own ass. It would be nice if it went just the slightest bit further, but you're never really going to need, for the most poses that you're going to use, you're never really going to need more than this. Now at the feet, basically at the calf, we do have a cut, which does allow for a full 360, and then we do get the foot that can go that far forward, that is ninja right there. That is for sure ninja right there. And then it can go forward just the slightest bit. It could be a little bit more, yeah, but I mean, I think it's about as much as you'll probably need to use in any kind of real world posing. And then he does have the ankle rocker, which does allow him to go almost to the ground. Again, that's very ninja-like. And on the other direction, basically the same. So you can get a really good pivot right there out of the ankle. All right, so if you're asking me for the price point of $20, this hand ninja or the red ninjas that we get from the Icon series, that they're a bit more expensive, they're more in the $40 range. I think the only things that those come with that are maybe better than this one is that for those ones you can get basically bare arms, and while this one does come with another set of hands, you don't necessarily get bare arms with these ones, but I don't think they ever came in the comic books like that. They always came exactly as we see here, and I think for the price point, these are the better figure overall. I've never owned any of the other ones, but I've seen them a few times, and they don't look impressive for the price tag, and these ones actually do for the price tag, and they come fairly well articulated. You do get 2 sets of weapons, you get 2 sets of hands, which is nice. You can put them into different poses, and for the most part, I think it satisfies that hand ninja itch. If you also include on top of that the fact that for the first time we finally got a build-a-figure piece that actually made sense to come with a character like this, I'm very, very excited about that, because that finally means that we're not going to be getting wasted pieces that come with figures like this. Though I will admit, I would have liked to have seen them do something like they did with Deadpool in the Juggernaut wave, where Deadpool came with loads of weapons and gadgets and everything, but didn't come with an actual piece that went with Juggernaut. And I feel like with the Hand Ninja, this would have benefited from that. Forget the Stilt-Man legs, forget the base. Give me 2 more weapons, 2 more ways for him to hold it, and that would have been pretty phenomenal to me. Now, the one benefit that this does have from coming with only basically three weapons, is that the katana can be put into the sheath itself, and then both of the side can be held by the hand ninja in each hand. And so that is really nice. That means that when I do put this on the shelf, when I do put this somewhere else, I can put all his accessories physically onto him, and then I don't have to worry about it. And that's something I loved about the G.I. Joe. Basically, all the G.I. Joe stuff is that basically everything that it comes with can go and be stored on the figure itself. You don't have anything that you're going to lose really on the side, and that's not always the case with a lot of these figures. So it's nice here that for the most part I can't do that. Now, yes, the hands are going to be separate, but I could always put him in a pose like this or something, and just know that most of what he comes with is on him, and that I only have to store the least amount of stuff, which the hands aren't too much of a big deal, like I said, but it is something to note. But with what he comes with directly, that would directly be on him with all the weapons, he can store it all on the figure, which is a huge bonus for me. So now, of course, I want to give you guys a size comparison, but before I do that, I do want to give you guys a full comparison between him and the Red Ninja from the G.I. Joe. So now here we have the Red Ninja and the Hand Ninja both side by side. And let me go ahead and say it, there's a lot of fair similarities here. They're both supposed to be ninjas. They're both supposed to be somewhat of these undead warriors, because that's kind of how they're touted. And I do like that for the most part, and both aesthetically look pleasing. But I will admit, having it next to the Red Ninja is far superior, but I can't just say that without prefacing that they both cost the same. And remember that the Hand Ninja right here on the right does come with the Stilt-Man Build-A-Figure pieces, and those are fairly thick chunk slices of plastic, and it's hard to just go ahead and say, oh, well, obviously the better purchase right here is the Red Ninja. There are some things that the Red Ninja does do noticeably better. There's way more contrasting of colors going all the way down, even though there's no paint really on it, right? It's all, for the most part, solidly done with maybe some paint around the straps. But that's kind of what I mean with the Hand Ninja. On the front, we do get a little bit of what I would say is paint application right there, even around the top, on the shoulder piece. And that basically breaks up the sea of red and black, which again, I think would have done really nicely right here. They could have given it black, but they also could have just given it a deeper red right here for the basically where this cotton piece would have ended up being sewn. Same right here on the legs. I don't think there's much we could have done here, but again, at least right there, follow that line all the way to the bottom, follow it all the way around. I think that would have done wonders for this figure overall. And then obviously, while on the right, the Hand Ninja is a bit more of a plain regular ninja figure, the guy on the left is just impeccable and insane. So my money definitely would go more towards the Red Ninja on the left over the Hand Ninja. But again, you do have to acknowledge some of the differences in terms of how they come packaged and at the price point. But that's not to say that the Hand Ninja is bad, especially as an army builder. Now, let me go ahead and show you guys a side by side. So they both look pretty nice side by side. The Hand Ninja is taller than the Red Ninja overall. Even if you were to lower down that neck peg just the slightest bit, he would still have some height over the Red Ninja. As you can tell, even the shoulders are a bit higher up overall. And for the most part, I do want to say that the Hand Ninja is the buck itself is a bit thicker. Even with the armor, the Red Ninja still looks a bit more slimmer overall. So it's not like the Red Ninja is just way better. We do get a little bit more bulk, a little bit more size with the Hand Ninja. So that does make up for, let's say, some of the differences that we see here, right, with the armor and all that. Well, there's a little bit more money going into the plastic overall, and that could be something. But the hoodie on the left is, again, just a lot more well integrated into the head compared to the Hand Ninja. On the back, obviously, we just get a lot going on the left with the Red Ninja, and it's a bit more of a plain and simple look with the Red Ninja on the right. Now, here's the reality. With both of these figures, on the right we get traditional, and on the left we get military modern, and that is something that you have to take into consideration when looking at both of these, because maybe you might like the Red Ninja, but you've always wanted just a more basic, ninja body like the one we're getting on the right, not so much all this armored up stuff that the G.I. Joe line has been giving us. I think either one of these is you're going to be happy with. The army build is definitely one of those figures that regardless of which one you buy, they look good, they both look fine, and depending on what you like, you'll know which one is your favorite. But I will tell you this, these are army builders. As soon as you get, let's say, a squad of 3, 4, 5, 10 even, you're not going to care. They're both going to look dope. And if you had 3 Hand Ninjas and 3 Red Ninjas, then they were all fighting together in a squad, and you put them in a diorama, it's going to look fantastic. So that's really not a gripe against either figure. I think either one is worth buying. And as I did mention, I would like to see maybe a standalone updated version of this one with the paint and a couple of other places to store weapons. And I think that the Hand Ninja would be really complete to what it could be. And of course, an update to that hoodie, but I honestly doubt we're going to get that, but still, it's something to note. And as you can tell, as I mentioned earlier, every single weapon that the Red Ninja comes with is on his body, and you can do the same thing, obviously, with the Hand Ninja. All right, and so for next in our comparison, we are going to have Count Dooku himself, and while it does look like he might be the slightest bit taller, he's not. They're actually basically the same height. Maybe the hoodie does give the Hand Ninja just the slightest more amount of height, but Count Dooku is a fairly tall Star Wars Black Series figure, so it's not the average, but again, as you can tell, as a taller character, the Hand Ninja does size up pretty well with him. Next, we're going to have Zartan, and as you can tell, they are, for the most part, again, about the same amount of height. I am willing to say that Zartan is a little bit more on the buffer side, a little bit larger, and of course he has the armor and all that, but height-wise, they're about the same. And then this is what I was referring to earlier. I wish we would have gotten more of a Zartan-style hood, where it just kind of is more of a crown, where it comes down and just kind of leans up on the chest but covers him all the way through. I think that the Hand Ninja would benefit greatly from a hoodie that's more of Zartan style, and it'll make him look that much more badass. But as you can tell, for the most part, they're about the same height, and Zartan isn't one of the smaller characters. He's actually one of the bigger characters from the G.I. Joe line, so keep that in mind. All right, now here we have him to the Revoltech Cable, and as you can tell, Cable definitely is larger than him, but they both come from the Marvel Cinematic, or should I say the Marvel Universe. So technically, him fighting this Hand Ninja isn't necessarily out of pocket, and Cable himself is supposed to be a gigantic dude, and he is fairly large. So this right here does look like it could be about right. The Hand Ninja are, probably anywhere between 5'7" to 6'1", and Cable is supposedly supposed to be 6'7", so this does look like that amount of difference in terms of height and probably overall body build, because again, Cable is a large motherfucker. So I'm willing to say right here that this does not look half bad, and if you could put him in a diorama with 3, 4, 5 of these guys attacking him, I think it would look pretty solid, especially considering that that's actually something that could happen. All right, now here we're going to have Diana next to the Hand Ninja himself. And now this is McFarlane, and McFarlane does seem to have a bit of they have a definite size problem, but for the most part, this is more of a 7-inch scale figure. Granted, Diana is supposed to be a fairly tall figure, even compared to Batman and all that, but as you can tell, she's, I think, taller than the Cable himself. So she is a large figure. So obviously the Hand Ninjas won't necessarily make sense here unless you're, this is obviously your own setup, how you want to do things. Technically, in some iterations, Diana is supposed to be about this large compared to other men characters, so you could go with that. But again, this is a totally different scale, a bit more closer to maybe what Cable is supposed to be. But yeah, large character. Overall, the Red Ninja is a nice army builder. He's a fairly normal looking figure, not a lot to him, something that can fade in the background but still look pretty dope, something that'll look good when you put 20 of these together, 5 of these together, whatever it is that you want to do. And obviously he is maybe a little lacking if he would have been, let's say, a specific character, a named character, but being just a regular foot soldier, I think this fits him perfectly fine, especially for the money. $20 and you get the Stilt-Man legs. Again, would like to see a single release with maybe a few updates on him, and while he's not necessarily perfect, I can forgive all of that, because again, it's not like this was Zartan or this was Duke or some character like that. It's just a regular cannon fodder character that gets sliced and diced by everyone he fights against anyway, and there's supposed to be a mob of these, and this will look great with a mob of them, and even by himself as just a supporting character to somebody who's more badass. He's not supposed to take up too much attention, and I like that. I appreciate what we got here, and I think he's worth buying, and I think he's worth army building, but that'll be up to you if you do want to spend your money on it, if you want to get that many, especially if you're trying to make a tall Stilt-Man. Marvel Legends, listen to us here and put a piece that goes with the the cannon fodder character, without giving us 10 torsos or 20 heads, nothing like that. So again, I think this was a good job overall by Marvel Legends.